welcome back to my channel and another video in the series of makeup collection and mini reviews. And the day has come to talk about my highlighters collection. There's so many highlighters, and if you can already see on the video, it is super pretty long video. So before we get right into it, which we should probably get right into it, I'm going to ask you to subscribe, like and comment if you like me, my personality and the content that I put on my channel. I try to upload every single day other than the weekend. But yeah, oh boy, there is a lot. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So I'm going to first start talking about my highlighting palettes. So there's majority of my highlighters are drugstore, but there are a few here and there that are a little bit pricier. So the first pricey highlighting palette that I want to talk to you guys about is the Anastasia Beverly Hills and Nicole Guerriero Glow Kit. I'm going to be inserting photos wherever, but basically it looks like this from the front, and then you open it up and it looks like this on the inside, as you can see. And this highlighting palette does not work out for me that well. It is very glittery, I would say. I mean, don't get me wrong, it is definitely very metallic. There is no denying that. But it is also very glittery. And even though I hit the pan on one of the shades, I do struggle to make this work. Like, I have to pack a lot of it on. I have to do a lot of blending when it comes to that. And I don't know, I just don't think this was one of the Anastasia Beverly Hills palettes that was worth the money. This is a little bit of a swatch situation of three of the highlights that I actually wear the most. I mean, as I said, it is a very nice palette, but I just, if my house burned down, would I repurchase this? No way, no. Right, the next palette that I want to get out of the way is not like a highlighting palette per se. Is the Model's Own Sculpt and Glow palette in light to medium, and it looks like this on the inside. You've seen me mention this palette for my bronzers and blushes, and this is the highlight, and it is very soft on the touch, but when you're swatching it, it's one of those highlights that are quite subtle. I don't know if you can see it. They're pretty subtle, but also they're quite patchy. Like, I don't like wearing this highlight too much because it adds more powder than actual glow to my skin. And yeah, I mean, I still recommend this palette because of the bronzer and blush, but not so much for the highlight. Next palette I want to get out of the way is Makeup Revolution Iconic Light and Contour Pro palette. Looks like this from the outside, and this on the inside. As you can see with this shade right here, I absolutely adored this shade. This is mostly contouring and bronzing palette with only two highlighters, but boy, when I say these highlighters are worth it. I mean, the shades themselves are very buttery. They are kind of chalky but very smooth. One highlighter, which is the one that I didn't hit pan on, that is not so worth it. It's more of a subtle powdery highlighter. But this white highlighter is absolutely beautiful. I generally, all in all, like this palette. I can use it for setting my under eyes, I can use it for bronzing up, and I can use it for highlighting. And it is super affordable, so I do actually like this palette. Next palette I want to get out of the way, and then it should be a little bit easier to talk about others, is it's like a self-made palette from Makeup Obsession, but I have two highlighting products in this actual palette. The first one is a bit meh for me. It's a cream highlighter in the shade Precious, and it looks like this on the outside. And then it's just, I don't know, it's just very chunky highlighter. I mean, it looks nice once it's on, and it doesn't feel that creamy once it's on, but it's just very chunky highlighter, and I'll just show you what it looks like right here. I don't even know if you can see it properly. Maybe I'm just waving my hand for nothing, but it's just like, it's this duochrome, like very white purple type of highlighter. And then the other one is their powder highlighter in the shade Moon. and a lot of people do like this highlighter. I personally do as well, but it's definitely one of those highlighters that are very, very intense. It's like a baked formula, but it is super, super pretty. It's like a lilac-y white highlighter, and it's just super metallic and absolutely stunning. And it doesn't create any texture on my cheeks either. And this highlighter's only like £3, and if you don't want it in its own made palette, it comes already in its own packaging anyway. The next palette that I want to talk to you about is another Makeup Revolution palette. This one is their Ultra Pro Glow palette. Looks like this from the outside and looks like this from the inside. These highlighters are one of the best highlighters I have ever tried in my whole life. They're not like super, super blinding, but you can definitely make them very blinding. But they're more about like glow within, but intense if you try hard enough. And I don't know, there's just something about these highlighters that I absolutely love. And I just think that they're worth the money because this palette isn't that expensive. And obviously some shades are more blinding than the others. And I don't know, this was one of my first highlighting palettes that I've bought. And I definitely absolutely love it. And I would definitely recommend it to those of you who have a lot of texture on your skin and don't want anything too intense. Right, so the next palette that I want to talk to you about, you've probably heard millions of people talk about it. It's the Sleek Makeup highlighting palette in Solstice. Looks like this on the outside. I don't want to blind you too much, but then it looks like this on the inside. And you get 3 powder products and 1 cream product. To be completely honest, I have not played around with this palette too much. Generally, creams I don't really reach for anyway, so I wouldn't be able to tell you much about that anyway. But all in all, seem to have pretty intense highlighters. This one right here is the cream one, and then the rest are the powders. These two are the baked powder, and this one's just normal. And they're really pretty highlighters, especially for pale skin tones like me. But as I said, I've not really played around with them too much. But they aren't the most expensive thing in the world, but they're not the cheapest either. So I don't know, I'm going to make that choice on you, but I don't think personally that it was worth that hype. The next highlighting palette that I want to talk to you guys about is by e.l.f. and it's their Illuminating palette, and it looks like this from the outside. Cute little quad or whatever you want to call it. And these are the highlighters on the inside. Now these are very powdery, very chalky highlighters, like this orange one especially. And as you can see, they're not super, super reflective or anything like that. They're definitely a lot more powdery, very, very, very subtle highlighters. I wouldn't recommend this for everyone, and I wouldn't even recommend this for myself if I were to ever buy this in the future. So, not much else to say about this palette, unfortunately. The next palette that I want to talk to you guys about is the Barium Cosmic Light Highlighting Palette, which the packaging is absolutely stunning. It looks like this from the outside, and then you open it up and it looks like this from the inside. Now, these 4 shades right here are creams, and then the middle 2 are powders. And these are the powders, like what they look like. And I think these powders are very interesting and very nice looking powders. Especially this one's super blinding, and this one is very colourful. Like, it pulls very purple, blue-ish kind of tone. It looks white in the pan. But as I said, I don't like using the creams. And the creams in this palette are super, super, super thick and just not really workable in my opinion. They're very thick. I feel like these would be one of those types of highlighters that would remove your foundation underneath. So I don't know, like I like this palette for the powder products, but not for the cream products. And considering that there are more cream products than powder products, perhaps I wouldn't recommend this. But I definitely do think that this palette is worth it because of the powder products. And the last actual highlighting palette that I want to talk to you guys about is the very famous Lottie London Shimmer Squad highlighting palette. It looks like this from the outside, and it looks like this on the inside. Now, this palette has definitely received quite a lot of hype on YouTube. and I think there is a reason for it. A lot of people compare it to the Anastasia Beverly Hills Glow Kits, and these two shades in particular I absolutely love. They're great for my skin tone, and they are definitely super blinding and metallic, but you can make them work for more subtle days as well. And I just think all in all this palette is great and I would recommend it for everyone. Now let's get on to some of my single highlighting products. Let's get rid of all the liquid products first. I only have 3. The first one's the Revlon Photo Ready Instafix Highlighting Stick, and mine is in a shade 200 Pink Light. Looks like this on the outside, and I don't know, it's just as I have said before in the past, which by the way this stick smells horrendously. I'm not a big fan of cream highlighting products. It's somewhere over here if you can see it. I just don't like it. I don't ever, literally ever reach for it, and it'll probably going to be decluttered. The next product is the MUA Luxe Glow Beam Liquid Highlighting Cushion in the shade, I have no idea. Basically you open it up and it kind of looks like the standard cushion foundation product with the product on the actual inside. You get a little sponge. I don't know. It's very golden like highlighter, and even though it looks pretty, once you actually work it into your skin, I don't know if you can see that, I don't reach for it. It's not something that I would use on an everyday basis. I have no idea why I picked this up, and I wouldn't recommend it either. There is a different MUA products that I would recommend, but not this one. And the last highlighting product is the Maybelline Master Strobing Liquid Highlighter. And it looks like this, and probably everyone has it by now, to be honest. It's very, very, very metallic-y, blinding highlighter. That's for sure. A lot of people compare it to the Custom Effects Drops when it comes to its intensity. As you can see it right there, very, very metallic. I don't use it for actual highlighter because, as I said, I just don't use cream products or liquid products for highlighting, but I do tend to use it for underneath my foundation. Now moving on to my powder highlighters. I'm going to start with the ones that I have most of, and that is the I Heart Makeup Goddess of Love highlighters. They look like this. I have 3 of them. I have the Golden Goddess, the original one, and the Goddess of Faith. Now, these are what the highlighters actually look like. I don't know if you can see them. The top one is the Golden Goddess, the middle one is the original one, and the bottom one is the Goddess of Faith. Now, the Goddess of the Golden Goddess is very, very yellow. The original ones is pink, like very, very pink shift. And then the Goddess of Faith is a little bit between like pink champagne type of situation. My favourite one is this one, which is the Goddess of Faith. It's, in my opinion, the most blinding, so that's the one that I would recommend. And the other 2, I'm just meh about. I don't really reach for them, and so I wouldn't recommend them. Now, the next products that I have a lot of from is from Makeup Revolution. I have 2 of their Skin Kiss highlighters, and then just other random bits. So, firstly, I'm going to show you their Skin Kiss highlighters. So, from the Skin Kiss highlighters, I have the Ice Kiss and the Peach Kiss. They look like this in comparison to each other, and they look like this on the hand. This is the peach one, this is the Ice Kiss. Now, these highlighters are actually pretty good and blinding. Obviously, the Peach Kiss doesn't work too much for my skin tone, but the Ice Kiss is actually pretty good, and I actually prefer this Makeup Revolution one in Ice Kiss more than I prefer the Jeffree Star Skin Frost in Ice Cold. So I would definitely recommend these highlighters, and they're £5, but they're massive pans. So I think if you find a shade that works for you, I think you're gonna love these. Now, the next highlighter from Makeup Revolution that I have is their Vivid Shimmer Brick in Pink Kiss. And it looks like this on the outside, and it looks like this on the inside. Absolutely stunning product, and it is very, very blinding, very icy pink type of situation. I don't know if the camera will actually focus on the actual colour, but I know that you can see how blinding it actually is. And yeah, I don't personally reach out for these highlighter, but it is super, super affordable and it is very blinding. The next highlighter from Makeup Revolution is the Vivid Baked highlighter in Golden Light. This was one of my first highlighters from Makeup Revolution and one of the first highlighters that made me fall in love with Makeup Revolution highlighters. It's very yellow goldeny type of highlighter, but it is absolutely stunning when it's on the cheekbones. Very, very, very blinding, so I would definitely recommend that. And the last highlighter from Makeup Revolution is their strobe highlighter in the shade Flash. Looks like this on the outside and it looks like this on the inside. Absolutely beautiful design if you can see it. And this highlighter is special, like I really do love this highlighter. It's only a recent addition to the family, but it is such a unique colour. Like, it's a white highlighter in the pan, but once you have it on your cheekbones, it pulls very yellowy greenish tone to it, and I just feel like it's absolutely stunning. It's very, very blinding, and the shift to it is just breathtaking in my opinion. I mean, I do not own any highlighter in my collection that pulls this shift, so it's definitely my baby. Now moving on to MUA. First product that I have is the MUA Pixel Perfect Multi Highlight in the shade Moonstone Shine. And it looks like this on the outside, and you open it up and it looks like this on the inside. The design of it is actually really, really beautiful. It's just like their blushes, it really just doesn't show up. Like, I don't know if you see where I placed it, I can't see it. It just doesn't show up. So even though it's super, super affordable, I wouldn't recommend this. And the other highlighter from MUA Luxe is Strobe and Glow Highlighting Kit. And mine is in a shade Pink Luster, and you open it up and you have the product in here. But like, that's the powder product, and then that's the cream product. The cream product, to be completely honest with you, is crappy. It's really not much. It's very patchy and like it bulks up into these chunks. But the powder product, oh boy, like this is an absolutely stunning powder product. Like, this is the actual powder product, that's the highlighting product. It's just beautiful, and for the price of this entire highlighting kit, absolutely stunning. I mean, yes, I have millions of pink toned highlighters in my collection, but I got very surprised by MUA with this product. And I've just spotted another MUA product, and it's the Undress Your Skin Shimmer Highlighter in Pink Shimmer. Looks like this on the actual inside, and this is the type of highlighter from this collection that it caused a big controversy when it comes to not much pigment coming off because of how hardly pressed it is. And it's still not very pigmented. Like, this pink one, you can barely see it in there. Like, I definitely have more pigmented highlighters in my collection. And I don't know why I did it, because like, if you remember my decluttering series, I decluttered this one, but like the yellow toned one, but I repurchased this one in the pink shimmer, and I'm still not super impressed with it. Now, the last two highlighters from that I have more than one from a collection is Jeffree Star. I have his Ice Kiss and also Ice Cold, and also Lavender Snow Skin Frosts. Now, these highlighters are something special because swatching them, especially the Lavender Snow, they're really, really pigmented. Lavender Snow almost feels, when you're swatching it and touching it, it almost feels wet to the touch. They're very metallic and just very, very blinding, especially the Lavender Snow one. Ice Kiss is great for light skin tones like me. It's just, The issue that I have, not so much with Lavender Snow, because I've not been really using Lavender Snow, and it looks a lot smoother on my hand than the Ice Kiss. Not Ice Kiss. Oh my god, Ice Cold. But the Ice Cold looks both on my hand and on my cheeks very, very textured. I'm starting to realise that, and I'm starting to think that maybe it wasn't the best purchase I've ever made, because both of these are £25.50 from Beauty Bay, so there is something to think about. But if I am going to be doing the decluttering series, I'm probably going to end up keeping Lavender Snow and decluttering Ice Cold, just because I have better products in my collection. Right, last 5 highlighting products. The first one is by Freedom, and it's their Pro Highlight in the shade Ambient. And it looks like this on the inside. It's very stunning, again, design. But again, it's just one of those powders that just barely show up. They're very, very subtle type of highlighters, and I don't know, I just don't like it. I don't reach for it. It was very affordable, so I'm not mad at it. It's just, it's not something that I would recommend to even people who want a subtle highlighter. The next highlighter is by Model's Own, and it's their Sculpt and Glow Highlighter Powder in Peach Pearl. I don't get what they meant by Peach Pearl when this is clearly a pink shift highlighter. It looks like this on the actual inside, if you can see it. And this is what it looks like. I mean, it is very blinding highlighter again. It's just for the price of it. From the highlighters that I've shown you in my collection, I think you could find a lot cheaper alternative. The highlighter that I do absolutely adore though is by e.l.f. and it's the Moonline Pearls highlighter. You open it up and it's this tiny little cute thing, and you swatch it, and it doesn't look like much when you swatch it compared to all the other blinding highlighters that I've shown you, but trust me, it's very subtle, but you can definitely build it up and make it look very metallic if you build it up, obviously, and it's pretty affordable as well, so I like it and I would recommend it. And then second to last highlighter is by Pixi, and it's in collaboration with Aspen Ovad, and this one is London Lust. It looks like this on the outside, and you unscroll the lid like this, and it looks like this on the inside. I am obsessed with this highlighter from the second I bought it until now. It's very, you can make it very subtle, but you can also make it very blinding. It's one of those versatile highlighters, and I just love it. I reach out for it almost every single week, and I think that Aspen did a great job with Pixi on this highlighter. I've not tried the other shade, but to be honest, I'm perfectly happy with this one, and I would recommend it. And the last highlighter that I have for you guys now is the Laura Geller what's it called? Baked Gelato Swirl Illuminator in Diamond Dust. And it looks like this on the outside, and it looks like this on the inside. And I really do hope that you can see that mesmerizing, beautiful design of this highlighter. This is their like celebration edition, and it's like one of those highlighters that pull a very, like, it looks white in the pan. You can see the pink shift to it, but like once you apply it, it looks very, very pink. You can definitely see that, and it is blinding, but this is supposed to be the baked gelato type of formula. Everyone raves about this formula. It's just, I don't really like it. I do want to try out the other original shades of this type of highlighter, because I do feel that perhaps maybe this particular shade is different. Like this particular formula might be different to the original ones. So for this particular shade, I wouldn't recommend. It's worth the money that you would pay for this. But stay tuned for my update on the original ones. And that's it, guys. That's all for my makeup collection and mini reviews of my highlighters. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you're just as tired as I am after like filming this video. Let me know in the comments down below if you have tried any of these highlighters, if you like them. If you don't forget, just because something worked out for me doesn't mean it's going to work out for you, and vice versa. Like this video if you want me to continue making these videos. Next, I don't know what would be the next in my collection and reviews, but I mean the eyeshadow palettes will definitely be just as long, if not longer, than this one. And yeah, other than that, I hope you're having an amazing day wherever in the world you are. Just know that you're loved and appreciated, and I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye!